name's Julianna, and I'm a second-generation Filipino-American. I was born in the town of Blue Hill, Maine, and I was raised by my Filipino mother and American father, and for several years by my Filipino grandmother as well. Growing up in a state which is 96% white, it quickly came to my attention that I was different than the other kids, and pretty much everyone actually. There was always this type of racial confusion surrounding me. I can't count the amount of times that I've been asked, "What are you?" And in which I respond, "Well, I'm half Filipino." But I keep thinking, what exactly does that mean? I know that being Filipino makes me different, but in what ways? Am I different because there have been several days in my life in which I've eaten rice for every meal? Am I different because my favorite part of winter is going to Filipino Christmas parties? Or am I different simply because I look different than the other locals? Growing up, my mom and grandmother never really taught me much about their background culture. But as I've grown older, I've become more interested in it. I want to explore the extent of my cultural differences. I want to find out how being Filipino has shaped me. And how has being in America shaped the other Filipinos that I know? I want to show my appreciation to the Filipino community and really emphasize the importance of it. I want to share my background culture with others. I want to show people what being Filipino in Maine is really like. And I hope that viewers will learn to appreciate the community as well.
Filipinos have played a bigger part in U.S. history than you may think. They have been present in the country since 1587, many years before the land even became the United States. The Philippines was even a U.S. colony for almost 50 years. Now, Filipino Americans are the second largest Asian American group and the second largest immigrant population in the country. Despite this, I've noticed that Filipinos are only briefly mentioned in basic U.S. history classes or books. So here's a quick overview of the Philippines' involvement throughout the history of America. Filipinos were the first Asians to step on what is now U.S. land. In 1587, before the Pilgrims had even arrived, and while the Philippines was a Spanish colony, they came to California during the galleon trade between Manila and Acapulco. The trade lasted until the early 1800s, bringing in more Filipinos. But some jumped off of the galleon ships, and in 1763, the first permanent Filipino settlements were developed in southern Louisiana. And many of these Filipinos fought in wars throughout the 1800s, such as the War of 1812. In 1898, after the Spanish-American War, the Philippines finally gained independence from Spain, but only to be sold and taken over by the U.S. They tried to change Filipino government, pushed American culture onto them, and forced assimilation. But the Philippines fought back against American colonization, leading to the Filipino-American War from 1899 to 1902. When the Philippines became an external U.S. territory, it loosened laws surrounding their immigration. Many Filipinos began migrating to the U.S. in 1906 to work on Hawaiian sugar plantations, then to the entire West Coast in the 1920s. Unfortunately, many Filipinos had to suffer from hard labor, unfair wages, and severe oppression. However, they fought back against the discrimination. They took part in labor strikes and protests. Eventually, a few Filipino towns formed and the community grew stronger. And in 1934, Congress promised independence for the Philippines. A few decades later, World War II began. The Philippines became allies with America, and around 250,000 Filipinos joined the United States Armed Forces of the Far East, which greatly contributed to our success in the war, especially in the Pacific Theater. After World War II, the Philippines was rewarded its independence from the U.S. Filipino veterans who helped the U.S. in World War II were promised the right to American citizenship and full veteran benefits. However, these promises were not entirely fulfilled until granted by Obama in 2009, yet many have still not received anything. But a year later, on July 4th, 1946, full independence was finally granted to the Republic of the Philippines by the United States. The country's new independence from the U.S. made migration policies stricter and slowed migration rates down. But in 1965 came the Immigration and Nationality Act. This led to a rise in Filipino immigration again. So in the 1960s, Filipinos were able to play a huge role in the American labor movement.
Today, 20% of the Asian American population is Filipino, with a population of over 3.4 million in the U.S. Although in Maine it's much smaller, the population seems to be growing in recent years. Whether they've been here for several generations or just a few months, they all have different stories to tell about how they got here. So let's get to know them.
Maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. My name is Nathan. I'm a nurse here in Bangor, Maine, and I've been in the United States for 2 months.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Muir. They call me Josie.
My name is Martin Kubi, and I was born in Lawag, Ilocos Norte in the Philippines.
I'm Dave Holland. I live in Talawang, Batangas.
Rachel Pan. What's your name?
I'm from Cebu.
And I'm from Mindanao and Aurora from Bangor.
I'm Mac Pascual, and you are?
Julianna.
Kidding. No, I'm Mac Pascual.
My name is Rowena David.
I'm from, it's called Bataan, Hermosa, Bataan.
I came from Isabela.
I came from Mindanao. It's a South Philippines. We call Butuan City.
Ako po si Kim Oliva. I'm 34 years old from Philippines.
My name is Blaze, 32 from Philippines.
Asawa ko siya.
Yeah.
I'm Sarah David. I'm Christina Max. Sherry Rebleza.
I'm Andrea Mag.
Honestly, Maine is not one of the many states popular in my country. So when I was assigned here, the first thing that came to my mind was, where the heck is Maine? So that's it.
What's Maine? No, kidding. Actually, I have no idea where Maine is, what Maine is before.
I came here at 19 years old. I was scared to death. I have no idea what America looks like. I have no idea of what they have here. Is because when I was a little girl, because we grew up in a small town, and at the time we have no television, and we only have a little radio. And because we're poor, also we couldn't go to the city to see all what's going on outside our little area. I have no clue the airplane, what the airplane looks like.
So San Diego must have been a big change.
Oh my God, I thought they put me in a refrigerator.
Lamig. Masakit sa mga buto yung lamig. Hindi katulad sa Pilipinas, pwedeng nakahubo lang, naglalakad. Mami, your experience here in Maine. That was you asking you that question.
I really can't, di ko pa masagot kasi bago pa lang kami, kaya pero so far masaya naman kasi maraming Filipino community, so nag-enjoy naman kami.
Because it says that it's low rate of crime. So yeah, I like it here. At the same time, we have also four seasons.
I think it's the opportunity to grow and opportunity to do whatever that you like to do. You know, basically, if let's say if you want to go to school, you can go to school. If you want to have your own business and be your own boss, it's basically that.
As a matter of fact, because of the community that we have here, it's not a lot of Filipinos, but a lot of warm-hearted and kind Filipino-Americans that I've met here for the past 8 months. And we've been enjoying it. Some of the best experiences are the attractions. We went to Bar Harbor. It was one of the most beautiful places that I've been since I've been here in America.
We have national parks like Acadia, and you can drive going to New Hampshire, or you can go to Massachusetts.
I like Maine. I mean, it's quiet.
As you may know or can infer from these answers, the environment in Maine is entirely different from the Philippines, with a ton of cultural differences.
It's the family and in the tradition stuff that we do, like holidays, and the food is basically.
It's one of the things that I also miss in the Philippines, the Filipino dishes, and also speaking in your native language. You can at work, outside, you only speak English, but if there's some gatherings like this, you can be comfortable speaking with your own language like Tagalog. So it makes you feel at home.
What I miss most are my relatives and my friends, people I grew up with. And in the Philippines, you can actually just go to a neighbor's house without setting an appointment. So you can just knock on their door and they would open up their house to you and they would actually feed you. Yeah.
It's just that when you go there, it seems like people are so happy and relaxed. Just like, I don't know how to explain it.
Many mentioned how they miss being able to speak their native languages as often. Although English and Tagalog are the official languages of the Philippines, there are around 150 languages and dialects in the country.
My native language is Tagalog.
Tagalog, Filipino.
My native language is Visayan. That's one of the regional languages in the country. So when I said maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan, that actually meant good day to everyone.
Kapangpangan. Manyaman ang pamangan keni, which means the food here is very delicious and malagu is beautiful.
One of my favorite parts of being Filipino, like many others have mentioned in the documentary, is the food. Unfortunately, not many locals are very familiar with Filipino cuisine. I was curious about Filipino cooking, so I teamed up with my mom and her friend to make one of my favorite dishes, pancit.
Okay, so we have the meat ingredient here.
I've never cooked this before.
Alright.
Some Shakira going.
It's ready.
Wait, what am I doing?
We put the cooking oil.
This?
But with
Oh, you just left it to the camera.
Shakira. And yeah, that's magic sarap. That's our secret seasoning.
It's probably the adobo. It's a chicken adobo because that's the easy one to make, and it's got a good flavor.
Can you explain what it
It's I like the chicken which is cooked with soy sauce and vinegar.
One of my favorite Filipino dish is humba. It's a regional dish from my province. It's a sweetened braised pork.
Filipino dish would be kare-kare.
is? Can you explain what that is?
It's actually a peanut curry.
A lot. Most of them.
Salad too, me too. Pinakbet, adobo, soup.
Yeah. Well, the American that adapted the Filipino dish also our favorite dish like lumpia.
Yeah,
Biko.
lumpia.
Pancit.
Those are my
Lechon.
favorite. But there are many other factors aside from just language and food that make up the Filipino culture. Here are some more examples of traditions and values.
Pagmamano, or giving respect to elder.
Respect to the elders. The elders, we always say, yes please, po, opo. It's basically just saying like, yes please, we'd always please with everything, basically.
Bayanihan. We help other people's, we solve other people's problem, help others.
Mano po. Mano po means basically showing respect to your elders with doing this mano po. So basically hand to the forehead.
Taking cares of our elderly.
Being strong. Like even if there's calamity or even there are like trials or sadness in them, they smile. Filipinos are smiling people.
Respect for everyone.
Filipinos are resilient.
Hardworking people. Give us overtime, we'll take it.
Filipinos are very outgoing. They love to party. We love to cook.
Hospitable.
Fearless. Not afraid of anything.
Respectful.
Let's ask them who their favorite Filipino is.
Bruno Mars. He is a mega star in the United States. He has multi-platinum award.
Manny Pacquiao.
Lea Salonga. She received awards like Tony Awards, and she was featured in movies like Mulan and Aladdin. And the theater play that she was known for is the Miss Saigon.
Apple the app, debot, yeah.
Of course, Duterte. Rodrigo Roa Duterte, the famous president in the Philippines.
Arnel Pineda, the Journey singer.
Don't stop believing.
To many, the Filipino community has acted as a home away from home, or a second family.
When you're new in the country, it's hard to get to you, like not knowing anybody is very difficult. Having a Filipino support make life easy, being away from your family.
Especially now, the Facebook is in, and we always know who's the new one, and tell them where you can get stuff and even shopping, or who's nearest to you.
It's the kindness of the Filipino community here, and they inspire me to be, as good of people they are. Because I've never seen, a Filipino group who's as welcoming and who's as warm as the Filipinos here in Maine.
Knowing some Filipinos will let you stay, or will let you be stronger and have the faith that you can overcome whatever challenges that comes into your daily life.
Also, like, my mom's a really positive person, so like whenever she's with her friends or anything, they're just always laughing, and even though it's like a really loud laugh, it's just
so loud.
It just creates a really positive environment.
I really like the food.
Yeah.
Just all these different types of foods. Like, I just enjoy that.
Tayong mga nakakatanda, siguro yung responsibility natin na ipaalala sa kanila. Kasi hindi naman natin makokontrol yung environment nila. Kasi siyempre nag-aaral na sila, maging Americanized na sila. So mag-aaral sila dito, tapos mapapaligiran sila ng mga kulturang iba. So kaya tayong matatanda, siguro yun na yung part natin na ipaalala sa kanila na Pilipino tayo, tapos ibigay yung mga cultures natin na hindi nila kalimutan. Dahil yun tayo, that's what makes us different from them. Tsaka, naniniwala ako sa culture relativism na matututo tayo sa kanila, dapat meron din silang matutunan sa atin. So kung hindi natin spread yun, nagkakalimutan na lang, I guess mawawala yung sense ng pagiging Pilipino natin. So wag nating hayaan na ma-Americanize tayo dahil nandito tayo. Sana, i-maintain pa rin natin yung pagiging Pilipino. Pero of course, since kaya naman natin mag-adapt, so, patas lang. Ma-maintain lang yun. Ang point ko is, tayo mga matatanda yung dapat magpapaalala sa mga future generation na huwag isang tabi yung kultura natin sa Philippines.
And the Miss Universe is Philippines!
Because again, where we came from in Cincinnati, there's a group of Filipino leaders who actually came together to ensure that our culture as Filipino is preserved. And I'm hoping that, coming here to Maine, we can actually drive inspiration from that group so that we can do the same thing here in this community. I think that in order to enrich our culture, we need to inspire the new Filipino group who are coming in here.
It depends on the parents and how they raise their child. They keep the culture within themselves. The Filipino culture will grow up together with the kids.
I really don't know, but for me, I think I'm not gonna lose my Filipino culture since I grew up there, and I still do this. I still do the same thing. My heart is still like Filipino, and I think everything I learned in the Philippines is not gonna go away.
No. It will still be there, even though it will not be practiced as much, or to Filipino culture, but it will never go away. There will still be influences in small ways, I believe.
Like our food, and that's why sometimes I put it in special, and so for them to know what we eat, or what kind of food, that we serve. And most of them, they try it. As soon as they heard, oh, it's a Filipino food, let me try it, they buy it. They like the lumpia, number one.
Is to be yourself, I think. You don't want to be afraid of, because you're different, that you're gonna act different towards other people, either whether they're white or Filipino. I think just being you, because eventually they're gonna find out, how good of a person you are.
What I would say to the Filipino Americans is, let's be proud of where we came from, and let's continue to be inspiration to others, a source of inspiration to others.
Don't be afraid to stand out, because it's not a bad thing to be two different races or be different from a stereotypical American.
I just want to thank everyone, especially my Filipino friends, for stopping by and buying our Filipino products.
To the Filipinos living in the U.S., it keeps on growing every year. Since I've been here, the first time I met 50, and now maybe I know 200 Filipinos living here in Maine. So it's fun to be around, the same culture or same nationalities once in a while.
If you try to know more about Filipino culture, the more you know about it, the more you get interested about it. It's unique to be Filipino.
Gusto lang din namin mag-thank you kasi binigyan kami ng chance na i-share kung anong meron kami. Kasi maging practical lang. Siyempre, hindi naman namin kikitain yung sa Pilipinas. And siguro iwasan lang din yung mga disparities, sana magkaroon kami ng fairness, ganyan. Which is, wala pa naman ako na-experience na pagiging unfair ng iba. So, sana lang ma-maintain. Mabigyan kami pa ng better opportunities na we're looking for.
Thank you for having us. Happy to serve.
Once you learn the culture of the Filipinos, you would learn to love it. Because it's truly, truly a beautiful, beautiful culture.
The only thing is just to kind of recognize us as a different nationality, different culture, different, maybe just basically different. I just want them to know that we have something special to offer.
Through meeting and speaking with all of these Filipinos, I've become much more appreciative of and aware of my background culture. I've really recognized parts of myself within this community. Cultural diversity and awareness are some things that I highly value in life. And the Philippines is like this big melting pot of various cultures, like different Asian ones, American, and Spanish. So to have all of that within my blood, and to be able to experience it within such a friendly community, and to have the opportunity of sharing this culture with others, is such a gift to me. I'm Julianna Allen. Thanks so much for watching. Mabuhay!